to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Heather.
And today we have another book to movie adaptation. We will be discussing and reviewing Cruel Intentions. As usual, let's talk about our fuel for this discussion. What are you drinking on this Monday evening, Heather?
I'm having some water because I didn't do great with my water intake today. Or the past 5 days. So I'm drinking water, but this morning I got the cookie butter cold brew from Dunkin'.
How was it?
Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's the best time of the year with all the holiday drinks.
I know I haven't gotten anything holiday yet, but
I've gotten 4 holiday drinks already.
I know. I figured.
Saturday, I went to Dunkin' and Starbucks.
Oh my gosh, to get one of each. Well, I'm having the returning Diet Coke with lime.
Oh.
Which apparently you can't find around me yet, but Allison gave me some cans to try,
nice.
And it's very delicious. I'm not usually a Diet
good.
Coke girly, but it is good.
Does the lime give it that extra oomph?
Yeah, it's not super limey. I could even go with a little more lime, but it is good.
Good.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. So, our movie is, of course, based on a book. And now, this is a very French book. And as a little treat, I'm going to say this, okay? I looked up the pronunciation and I wrote it out phonetically.
Good job.
I don't want to hear shit from anybody, okay? This is the book Les Légies und Dangereux by Pierre Chaudalu Delaclue.
Wow, that's a great French accent. It's better than I could ever do.
Wow, thank you. I'm 75% French according to Ancestry.com.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah. So, I had to really go with my ancestry. No, Kelsey, shut up. We're French Canadian. Anyway, so this book was written in 1782. It's the story of two super French people. I didn't look up the pronunciation of their names because I've hit my limit. But the description is two immoral lovers turned rivals who amuse themselves by ruining others and who ultimately destroy each other. Which is concise and accurate to the adaptation we will be discussing, which is the 1999 film. So, first we have to talk about this cast. Holy shit. Okay.
I know.
So we've got our main three, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe, and Reese Witherspoon. But it doesn't end there, because we also have Selma Blair, Sean Patrick Thomas, and Joshua Jackson.
I know. I forgot Joshua Jackson was in this.
Me too. And, so not his normal of that time. But, wow, once you start listing the names, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The director is Roger Kumble, who basically decided that he needed to make a teen movie because starting around 1995, teen movies were growing in popularity. So at first, people were like, oh, it has to be teen horror movies like Scream. And then they realized that all teen movies were just doing so well because there wasn't really anything being done for the teenagers. So he said he was aiming to do Dangerous Liaisons, but the high school version.
All right.
Have you seen Dangerous Liaisons?
No, but I want to now.
Yeah, it's a good one. He said he had trouble casting for Annette, but Phillippe was dating Reese Witherspoon at the time, and she had just come off of Fear and Pleasantville, both perfect movies. Fear's the movie that made me fall in love with Mark Wahlberg. Ugh, which is horrible because he's a horrible person in that movie. But
I actually don't think I've seen Fear.
Oh, that's a good one. You got to watch that. That's a good one. So Reese agreed to do it if she could go over the character and develop it a little bit more, and the director agreed. And mostly everyone involved in the movie was surprised that it was even made because it was so provocative and raunchy compared to anything else that was coming out. But the director and the producers stuck to their ideas and decided that they were going to push the boundaries. And if it was a flop, so be it. But they weren't going to change anything that they wanted. So, money wise, this was originally supposed to be like a low budget indie film. But because of the performances from the three main actors and their growing fame around that time, the movie ended up being a huge financial success. There's also been a prequel, a sequel, a musical, and a TV series, which came out last year, which I tried to watch and it wasn't great. But they're all stemming from this original. And it was nominated for over 20 awards, but I'm going to focus on a few of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It was nominated for and won the trashiest trailer from the Golden Trailer Awards. Nominated but did not win for worst remake. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe were both nominated by Teen Choice Awards for the movie Sleazebag, and Sarah Michelle Gellar won. And of course, they won the MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss for the kiss between Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair. Iconic. So let's get into the movie.
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
All right, so we start out with Sebastian, who's at therapy. And we have an amazing cameo from Tara Reid, because you also can't have a raunchy teen comedy around this time without Tara Reid. And we immediately find out that Sebastian is a womanizer, but is also very charming, and he uses that charm to manipulate. There's already so much like overt sexual, unwanted sexual contact that you're like, oh, we're in for something, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
And then we also meet his stepsister, Catherine, who pretends to be godly and well-behaved, but she's actually manipulative and sexy. And she has a new project, which is to make Cecile the laughingstock of their school. Catherine's ex-boyfriend broke up with her and is now courting Cecile, so Catherine must retaliate.
Of course.
Meanwhile, yes, because that's the way things work. Meanwhile, Sebastian is getting frustrated because it's just way too easy to sleep with and then destroy women. And he's getting so bored, you know, because like you can't do that all the time. And his new conquest is Annette, a virgin who is the new headmaster's daughter. And we find out she's a virgin because there's like an article somewhere about it.
Yeah.
Like, who decided to interview her? I don't know. And then they refer to it as a manifesto, which is so funny because then all I think about is like, you know, like manifestos, like in a bad way.
I know.
So they decide, Catherine and Sebastian decide to make a bet, because another thing that no movie from this time can be without is a bet. And so the terms of the bet are, if Sebastian cannot take Annette's virginity, he has to give his prized possession, which is his convertible, to Catherine. If Sebastian wins, he gets to fuck Catherine. Because, oh yes, Sebastian desperately wants to fuck his stepsister.
Yeah.
Pause for a moment. Can we call this incest? Because I remember when I first watched it being so scandalized and like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. But I mean, they're not related.
No, I think like watching it now from like an adult point of view, it's not really, I mean, it's inappropriate, obviously. And it's definitely like taboo, but there really isn't there's no relation. Like,
yeah, I think taboo
if they make
is
a
the
child,
perfect way to say it.
It's not going to be, you know, not going to have like the same chromosomes. Like, it's going to be different.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, that's so true. I think taboo is the right way to say it, because like so many people flag this as like the incest in the movie, and I'm like, it's not. But anyway, so they both go off on their respective missions, and Catherine is teaching Cecile to be a teenage girl because Cecile is weird as fuck. Mm-hmm. And she's like very sheltered and naive. So Catherine convinces Cecile's mom that she's going to like take her under her wing and like make sure she's mature and give her, teach her manners and all this stuff. And really, she's teaching Cecile how to be a hoe, kind of. So we get the infamous kissing scene. And actually, have you ever seen, oh man, I can't remember now if it's not another teen movie.
Yeah, that was all I could think about when I watched it.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing about like that tiny little spit thing, and apparently when they were filming it, they were like, oh, we need to reshoot it because there was like a little bit of spit. Like, that's kind of gross. And the screenwriter was like, no, we must keep it. And they're like, okay, fuck it, let's keep it. And now it's like iconic.
Yeah.
Who thought that a little bit of girl on girl spit would be so iconic? Anyway, also I would die to kiss Sarah Michelle Gellar in this era or right now, but you know what I mean. All right, so Cecile loves her music teacher, which is a no-go because he's Black. And Catherine sees this as an opportunity. She goes behind Cecile's back and exposes her crush to Cecile's very racist mother, which, like, we'll get into the racism later, but I did like some parts of how this was portrayed, where she is just so ignorant and thinks that she knows so much about this guy just because he's Black. And she's like, I pulled you off the streets. And he's like, I live on the Upper East Side. Like, the fuck? Like, I'm rich and Black. But anyway, so now we have this like hidden, unrequited love pair that Catherine has inserted herself into the middle of. And now she's going to be the knight in shining armor to make sure that they can be together. And this obviously gives her more leverage because they're both putting trust in her. So she's got them right where she wants them. Meanwhile, Sebastian is trying to make some headway with Annette, but she sees right through him. And it's funny because she's obviously attracted to him. Like, she thinks that he's very handsome and she like gets a little nervous around him, but she has no problem being like, you are not getting anywhere with me. Stop with playing your games. Like, I'm not falling for your shit. So it's like kind of balancing normal teenage emotions with her being emotionally intelligent.
Yeah. And it's kind of like fun to watch because I feel like he kind of saw this as like an easy conquest.
And I think that in the past, when he's been kind of like insulted or confronted, it's always in an aggressive way. And with her, it's more kind of like patronizing in a way, but she's just like, I see right through you. And he's not used to that response.
No, of course not. He gets whatever he wants.
And if someone doesn't give him what he wants, then they're the problem. But like with Annette, he knows that she's not. So then Catherine has her speech about how she's villainized for liking sex. So her ex broke up with her after she gave everything to him, and he would rather be with a virgin like Cecile. And that's part of why Catherine gets so upset, because basically she's like, okay, so it's all right for me to enjoy sex, but I can't say anything about it. Or it's okay for a man to enjoy it, but it's not okay for me to say it. And if I do, then I'm looked at as a slut. Then this man is leaving me for someone else who's harder to get, or et cetera, et cetera. And even worse, Sebastian tries to be like, pause for a second. You know that you're going to ruin an innocent girl's life, right? As if he is not trying to ruin an innocent girl's life simultaneously.
I know.
But like, it's only bad when she does it. So I really like, and we'll get back to this at the end, but I really like that they're confronting this double standard head on, because it is one of the very big messages of this movie. And a lot of times, especially in this time period, it was not spoken about openly like this. So Catherine is like, I don't give a fuck. We're going to ruin her life. And meanwhile, Annette is falling for Sebastian because they've started spending a lot of time together, and he's kind of like letting his guard down around her. but she doesn't trust herself around him. And he gaslights her, of course, and convinces her that they're in love and she shouldn't pass up the opportunity to have sex with someone she's in love with. And she folds like a napkin. She's ready to bang. She's taken the pajamas off. And then Sebastian has a weird stroke of conscience and tells her that he can't do it. And he storms off. But this obviously makes it even worse because she's heartbroken. She's rejected. She made herself vulnerable to him. And he rejected her.
Yeah.
So she's humiliated and she decides to leave town. Just leave town. But he realizes that he has real feelings for her. So he chases after her, meets her at Penn Station at the top of an escalator. And I do have to say, every time I'm coming over an escalator where you can't see the top, I do have this vision in my head of Ryan Phillippe waiting. And it never happens for me. But, you know, it happened for her. Good for her. And at the top of the escalator, they're tonguing each other down.
Yeah.
And next scene, they're in bed. And this is the first scene of actual sex that we get.
Yeah.
So there's nothing really to compare it to, but it definitely feels sweeter and more intimate and romantic than we would expect.
I agree.
And I thought that was so interesting that they don't actually show us any of that other sex. Like we'll hear it or they'll allude to it or, you know, we'll see the beginning or the end. But this is the first thing that we actually see. And you still feel like, oh, this is different than every other time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. But Catherine, who doesn't like losing or giving up control, is not okay with this. And she lets Sebastian know that she's ready to cash in on the bet. But he doesn't want to have sex with her anymore. And this makes Catherine livid. She doesn't like being rejected, first of all, and she certainly doesn't like losing to another virginal girl like Annette. This is just reiterating the fact that she is always being left for a quote-unquote more innocent or pure girl. Even though this is like such a more complicated and fucked up situation, that's what it boils down to in her head. So she convinces Sebastian that he'll never be good enough for Annette and gets totally inside his head. So he goes off to break up with Annette, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you can see, obviously, that she finally let him in, and she can see that he is struggling and he doesn't mean it. And she kind of keeps saying like, okay, you don't mean this. Like, why are you saying this? And then he has to get really mean so that she knows that he's serious about it. And yeah, it's horrible. And when he comes back to claim Catherine, because he's like, okay, you're right. I'm a shitty person. You're a shitty person. Guess we're made for each other.
Yeah.
She, as usual, has to have the last word and completely humiliates him and just tells him how she manipulated him, how she would never have sex with him because she doesn't fuck losers. Harsh. So he decides that he has to win Annette back. So he mails her his prized possession, which is his journal, where he chronicles all of his conquests, including the bet.
Yeah.
And he begs her to give him another chance, but also to read what he wrote so that there can be all truth, no more lies.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, it's such a complicated thing because she's going to see how truly dark and manipulative he's been in the past. But he's taking that risk because he knows that that will show her how much he's changed and how different it is with her. And
yeah,
I just thought this was like a really, I mean, not like it's super unique, like he mailed her a journal, but comparatively to a lot of these other, you know, like teen dramas where it's just like holding a boombox outside her window, or like showing up at her job, or you know what I mean? Like just these little like acts of love. This is like something so much deeper. This is like his exposing his soul to her.
Yeah, because he's literally showing her every single part of him.
Mm-hmm. Also, like, no shade to say anything, okay? I'm not trying to shade. I'm just saying. The boombox, it's been done. He can't do it again. So, Annette reads the journal, and we don't really get what she thought of it or her, response to it or anything. But apparently it won her over because she goes to find him. But he's in the middle of a fist fight with Cecile's music teacher boyfriend, which this fight is, of course, a result of another one of Catherine's savage tactics.
Yeah.
Because she called Ronald and told him what Sebastian did to Cecile, and basically just framed it like Catherine didn't do anything wrong and it was all on Sebastian's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're fighting, Annette is thrown into the road, and as she's about to get hit by a taxi, Sebastian saves her and is himself hit and killed by said taxi. And he dies, which is so fucking dark.
I know. It's so dark.
And like so unexpected. Like, this is a movie about sex and then he dies. Apparently the director was strongly encouraged to take this out and to change the ending. And he was like,
really?
Nah, this is the ending. Because they said it was just like too dark and didn't like add to the story. I don't know. I can't see it any other way because this is the way it is, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So as a tribute to his memory at his funeral, I don't know. That part is a little weird. We do some time jumps here, okay?
I know.
So that Sebastian can get the last word for once, Annette takes down Catherine by publishing his diary, which exposes all of Catherine's deepest, darkest secrets, including, but not limited to, the stash of coke she keeps in her rosary. And we end with Catherine crying and Annette cruising away in Sebastian's convertible.
With the greatest song of all time playing.
So good. And so appropriate. Because bittersweet, obviously, because Annette lost the love of her life, who she just gave her virginity to, but at least she took down Catherine in the process.
I know.
And did something for Sebastian in the end. So first and foremost, what about this ending? What about the death? What about the exposing Catherine with the journal? What about all of it?
I actually completely forgot that he dies in the movie because I was talking to Eric about it, and he was, I told him like I haven't watched this movie since I was like a teenager. Like it came out in 99, right? And it was like, I would say like the 2000s is when I went on like a huge bender of just all movies, and I was on a big Reese Witherspoon kick. Because Sweet Home Alabama came out. Like I even like got my hair done like hers in Sweet Home Alabama. Like I was obsessed with Reese Witherspoon. Like obsessed.
I love. Okay.
And I was like, loved this movie so much. And I was like, but why? Like it wasn't good.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it's good.
No, and then so I don't know. I was just kind of like thrown for like a minute, but there's still so many like iconic parts of it. Like I really liked the ending. The ending is obviously like from exposing Catherine and like Cecile kind of getting her revenge in a sense because she got completely fucked over by Catherine. And then there's that moment in the bathroom where Annette's like, if you need somebody to talk to, like I can be your friend. And then lo and behold, she's actually like a snake in the grass, but in a good way. So, yeah. It was just, I don't know. I had a lot of mixed feelings while watching the movie.
Okay. I should have asked this at the top. When was the last time you've seen it? I am quite the opposite. I watch this at least once a year.
I love that for you.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm saying
No, but that's what I'm
I
saying.
love
Like,
it.
I mean, listen, my favorite movie of all time is Grease, and that is not a good movie.
Yeah. I
But I
mean,
love it so
I
much.
disagree. It's good. Well, maybe I need to rewatch Grease. Maybe you're right about that.
Eric did not like it when I made him watch it.
Yeah, but it's like that's another thing why these movies we like them so much is because of that nostalgia. Like Grease
Yeah.
totally is nostalgic, and Cruel Intentions for me is nostalgic because it embodies everything that a teen drama, including the cast, including like just the hypersexualization,
Yes.
just all of it. Plus, like maybe this had something to do with my sexual awakening. I don't know.
I
Who
mean, it
knows?
very
You know what
much
I mean?
was because I remember too. Like, I remember watching like that scene, that specific scene with like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Selma Blair, and being like, because I was very sheltered in my youth,
Mm-hmm.
and so I remember seeing it, and that was again like something that was like really taboo, and like
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see that, and it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, ooh, I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also the way that Sarah Michelle Gellar just exudes sexuality every time that she's on screen.
And it's just like so crazy to see her, you know, because I've been rewatching Buffy recently, and to
Mm-hmm.
like see her in that role compared to like this role. I mean, it's she's such a good actress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know like Joss Whedon was kind of like a dick on set too. So, you know, but it's kind of like crazy that she goes from like playing like this badass hero to being like a villainized woman. And some
Mm-hmm.
of the lines that she has, I was like, I don't know that I would be comfortable saying those things.
I mean, she is talking about getting fucked by her stepbrother and
Yeah.
putting it anywhere he wants.
Yeah. There was just, so I have to like give her props because I feel like this just, I mean, in that time, like you are right, like in this era, that was kind of the kind of movies that were coming out anyways. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of the year of like sexualizing women.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so it was just kind of like surreal.
Yeah, and I
Watching it
think it
back.
is a very big risk for her to
Mm-hmm.
take this role because, especially the way that the female actresses are treated, and, you
Yeah.
know, even worse back then, of, you know, she could have been completely blacklisted
Yeah.
or typecast and not been able to get any other roles. And I did see something about how, like, the year after this, American Pie came out, which is obviously like extremely over sexualized, but it wasn't looked at as this taboo thing because it was associated with comedy and because most of the sex was obviously with men.
Yeah.
Like, and men and their sexuality, I mean. So, okay, so that brings me to, well, to your point of her playing such a different character. Is Catherine likable?
No, but I think that that's the point, right? Like, am I wrong? I don't know. I feel like no, like I feel like she's kind of is like she's, for starters, she's putting up this facade of being like this holier art thou, you know, character, and that she wants to like help Cecile when realistically she's trying to like do her revenge plot line. And
Mm-hmm.
she basically fucks over Sebastian, who finally finds something that's real to him and, you know, ruins it for him, and then essentially gets him killed. So
No, literally.
no, I don't think she's likable. Because even like at the end when she was like, why is everyone like walking away from like me being up here giving this great eulogy about my stepbrother, and you know, like
Mm-hmm.
she just kind of, she holds herself on a higher pedestal that she doesn't belong on.
I mean, when you frame it as she's responsible for manslaughter, yeah, I guess there is only one answer to this question.
She literally got him
I,
killed.
yeah, she did. And that's why it's so weird that we don't get any of the in between of like right after he dies and before this funeral. But, you know, anyway, so I agree. I think that Catherine is ultimately ruled by her ego, and it's clear that society has made her this way. Like, she knows that the only way to succeed is to pretend to be this goody two-shoes cookie cutter girl, so she does that. And she also knows that enjoying sex isn't a bad thing, and she shouldn't be villainized for it. So she finds ways to be okay with that and not advertise it. And then she gets her revenge in subtle ways. I obviously think it's completely uncalled for that she chooses to retaliate to society by targeting other young girls, but she's a teenager. What can I say?
Yeah.
And when I first was thinking of this, just this whole movie in general, I'm like, wow, these characters are so not complex or multifaceted. But I do think that's wrong about Catherine, because every awful thing she did in this movie came from a place of hurt, whether it was rejection or humiliation. And I feel like at first glance, it feels like it was just a loss of control, but it was actually deeper than that because she felt so specifically targeted. And she has a couple of iconic quotes, but my favorite is, "I'm the Marsha fucking Brady of the Upper East Side, and sometimes I want to kill myself," which encapsulates like the pressure she's facing to have to be this perfect version of herself. Like, she doesn't want to come off like that. I think more than anything, Catherine wants to be able to own her sexuality, to be okay with wanting sex, to be okay, to basically be Sebastian and be open about it. But she can't. And it's tiring to have to play these, to have these two personalities, because we see that Sebastian does not put on a front around authority or adults the way that Catherine does. He don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So she has this kind of like tiring job of keeping up these facades, whether these facades are good or not, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
How about Sebastian? Is he likable?
I have like he's like an interesting character to me, because I feel like he definitely comes off as, in the beginning, as obviously this self-entitled dude who basically feels he can do whatever the hell he wants and get off scot-free, like nothing's going to happen, you know, and he's just using women, which isn't great. And he's allowing Catherine to kind of use him as a pawn in her games a lot of the time as well. And it's very clear that obviously he's wants to be kind of like this sexual god in a sense. And so it's interesting that it's like a virgin that breaks him. And, you know, I think one of my qualms with this movie is that there wasn't enough Sebastian and Annette to really, because then it's just kind of like all of a sudden he's like, he loves her. And I'm like, okay, but how? Like, we didn't see it develop enough. And I think that kind of took me out of the film a little bit. But I know that, like, you know, I read romance novels, so I know how rushed it is. I know how, you know, people, a lot of stories, they fall, you know, they kind of like fall in love instantaneously. But he is such a bad boy figure that I needed a lot more to happen before he actually was able to like fall in love. But I didn't dislike his character. I mean, he's a douche, but most men are. So, but I think he can be likable. I just think that he needed someone like Annette to kind of even him out.
I agree that we need more of the background, because it does just seem like at first he only loves her because she's the only person who's ever said no to him. And then, you know, we do get that one moment of conscience where he like leaves and he realizes that he does have feelings, and that's, you know, supposed to be enough for us. I would counter a little bit to say that I don't think Sebastian and Catherine are that different. And I think the reason that we're meant to feel like Sebastian is more likable is because he's a man, and because he was able to get a person like Annette to fall in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the movie does that. It does change your mind about Sebastian because he falls in love.
Mm-hmm.
But when I really look at it, I'm like, but did it change anything? Because he, ended up breaking her heart. He ended up being convinced by Catherine, being manipulated by her, and then going back and saying, you know what, we are shitty people. We should just be together. So it's kind of like, I think that maybe we're suckers for liking him.
I mean, hypothetically too, but I also think that he does like massively fuck up with like Annette, and he like, because I feel like there's this Catherine like really makes him feel like he's a terrible person. I mean, and like he is, like, don't get me wrong, he's done a lot of like screwed up things, and so like in return it makes him want to like self-sabotage and break things off with Annette, which almost gives him a little bit of an edge, because he's trying, like, while breaking her heart, he's almost doing it because he knows he's like probably not good for her. And then when obviously he has the whole interaction with Catherine, and she's like, oh, this was all like my master plan, I wanted to like tear you down, and he like realizes like how fucking chaotic and fucked up their dynamic is, which is like the point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is that they are basically two terrible people set out to destroy each other, and in this instance Catherine's the one that comes out on top. And then so the fact that his big move is to like completely reveal his naked self in written form to Annette, I think that that's like such a big mature thing to do, because he could have just like groveled and like tried to like win her back that way, but he's like, no, I want you to see all the darkest parts of me, because I do really care about you, and this is who I am, and if you can accept me as this human being, then like, yeah, like we can probably make it work.
I think a part of it also is, he could have, after all that, and after Catherine, told him that she manipulated him yet again, he could have turned on her and tried to get her back, and then it would be like a tit for tat forever. But I think Sebastian is smart enough to know that he is never going to beat Catherine. He said, I got to get the fuck out of here while I'm still alive. And then he died.
I know, literally. And it's because, and I think that she is like the top dog of the movie, and it's just kind of like one of those scenarios where it's like, bitchiness does kind of win. And like,
and
it's okay
her sexuality.
And like, it's okay to be your true self. And while it might not make you likable, it doesn't make you, well, it does kind of make her a bad person. Like in this, after what she's doing, like makes her a bad person. But like, just because you're not likable doesn't mean that like someone's not going to ever like appreciate it. And she's also so young. Like, I mean, I don't even know.
They're in high school.
Is it high school?
Yeah.
Okay. So gosh, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I know. I do think there's a big part of it too, is that at the end, she was able to get the upper hand. She was able to be the top dog because of her sexuality, because she weaponized it. And she knew that she could use that against Sebastian because he thinks with his dick and not with his head. And so she's like, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be smarter than you, because I'm always going to be more clear-headed. I'm always going to be thinking 10 steps ahead, and you're just thinking about who you're going to fuck right now.
Yeah, because she's like using her sexuality as her tool to get ahead.
Yeah, I did see this article online talking about how Catherine and Sebastian are anti-heroes before anti-heroes existed, because they're so magnetic and charismatic and like you fear them, but they're also horrible people.
Which like most people are in the teen films. Like if you remember, like She's All That, like Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character in that movie, like he was such a dick in the beginning and throughout, and the whole, like you said, the whole basis of the film was a bet. But at the end of the movie, we all love him because he changed his ways and he saw the light. So I think that's that was just like the process back then. And of course like we live And like we live in like that time where it was just like heartthrobs, and so women always wanted to root for the guy instead of the girl, like the bad girl.
Right. I think that's a really good point. And the reason that this one feels different, even though it has that same blueprint, is because this does feel so much higher stakes. This does feel so much more aggressive. This does feel like, because watching this, you know that Catherine will do anything to take someone down. So I totally get what you're saying. Like, all of these people are shitty because they're teenagers and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they act first and don't think about other people or whatever. But with her, it's like, no, this is someone to actually be scared of.
No, because she's so smart and manipulative in a way that she knows what the hell she's doing. And like this one is like, this movie was so much darker than the other like romances, teen romances that were coming out.
Yeah, I agree. So we also get this very big and obvious good versus evil, which is, obviously Annette versus Catherine, but good wins in the end because Annette comes out on top. And we get this kind of scene at the end where they're both standing looking at each other in the mirror. And even just like the difference in their appearance, like the light versus dark, is just such a kind of like hitting the nail on the head. Like Annette sees through Catherine's facade because she's been shown it by Sebastian, right? Like, she wasn't really in her circle before, so she wouldn't have found it on her own. But at that moment, like, that Annette knows what's up. You don't know what she's going to do about it, but you know that whatever kind of charm Catherine is going to try to use, it's not going to work on Annette.
Which I think is why I actually really liked Annette's character, because I feel like even she was written differently in that time. I feel like the goody two-shoe characters were kind of, you knew they were going to get taken advantage of, and that like sucked. And I feel like Annette was not that. She was a lot smarter and headstrong. Like, she wouldn't initially fall for Sebastian's tricks. While like she was tempted, she was definitely tempted. And I kind of liked that they showed her temptation a lot, but like she never actually gave in until she had like that moment, until she has these moments with Sebastian, and then she realizes that she really does actually care about him. We don't get to see them, but they're there, obviously.
No,
because she wouldn't just
somewhere.
Because she wouldn't just change her mind that quickly, because she was so like steadfast in her beliefs and not wanting to like cross that line. And so I like appreciate that about her character.
Yeah, that completely goes with what I was going to say next about this decision around virginity, because I mean, I hate this. I hate when we like are kind of glorifying like this pure woman who doesn't want to have sex and give herself up and blah, blah, blah. But I will say that in spite of that, I did like that this was based on Annette's desire to be in love before having sex.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a religious aspect.
Yeah, I agree. Because I feel like there wasn't,
what we get.
There like wasn't that much, there wasn't as much religion as you would expect.
And that's what we get so much. And even when it's first introduced that she's, a virgin, you think like, oh, she's saving herself for marriage, blah, blah. But no, she's just, when she says, I didn't write the quote down, but when she says basically that you should be in love before you're doing something like that. And as teenagers, like, we're not capable of the kind of love that is enough. And, she changes her mind real quick on that. But all I'm saying is I like that it didn't feel like she was going back on her word or her convictions or anything like that. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to wait till marriage and then this guy convinced me. No, she decided she wanted to wait till she was in love, and then she felt like she was in love. So she gave it up,
I think she just really like desired the connection aspect.
Yeah. I agree. And I think because men like Sebastian exist, that's why she felt this way in the first place.
Preach.
So I don't love it. I mean, it obviously you need it for the movie and it's the whole, the bet and the whatever. But I will say that as much as I don't like it, it didn't bother me as much as it could have.
No, because I think like it was done in a way that we're not used to seeing. Because I feel like they didn't glorify her virginity like they do in other movies. It was just kind of like, yeah, it was definitely a plot point, but it wasn't like gross.
And it ultimately was her choice. Even though you feel in that moment like he's kind of manipulating her a little bit, the fact that she has kind of gained the upper hand and the fact that she has held out for so long when he's been trying shows that like, no, she's ready now. And whatever he might have said to, push her over the edge like that, she was ready. And so I feel like that's something that we don't always see. It's like he was manipulating her, yes, but not specifically about sex.
Yes.
Or he was trying and not succeeding, basically.
Yeah.
But I do think, I don't like that the evil in this story is the woman who's owning her sexuality, is the woman who's saying it's okay to enjoy sex. It's okay that, why is Sebastian allowed to sleep with anything that moves and I sleep with my boyfriend and he leaves me for someone else? And I understand this is obviously all part of Catherine's character, but it just feels like a pile-on when we get Annette and Cecile, who are both these virginal girls who, are chosen over her and who at the end come out on top and come out as the winners. And I don't know, it just feels kind of icky, but also appropriate for 1999.
Well, that was actually going to be my point, was that, so this was 99 and gosh, it's almost 30 years. And we're still in a time frame where women who want to be that sexualizing women, or women that want to be sexual because they have a right to, and there's nothing wrong with it, is still seen as like, where's your virtue, girl? Like, don't you care? Like, why do you want to sleep around with everybody? Why do you want to do that? And it's like, no, like if a woman likes sex, there's nothing wrong with that. And if she wants to have multiple sexual partners, there's nothing wrong with that. Like we're still 100%. Dealing with that. And especially like living in like the trad wife era that we're in right now. Like, it's just like, it's insane. Like, it's actually insane.
Well, that trend that's going around right now where it's like, on Halloween, oh, well, my future wife wouldn't be out in a slutty costume right now.
I did not see that. But I believe that that's the thing that's happening.
But it's like, why the fuck are you concerned with what someone does before they even meet you, number one? And number two, it's so... I mean, like you said, we're still dealing with it, this fucking double standard of like, if a man has a body count on Love Island of fucking 1,000 people, everyone's like, ha ha ha.
I know.
And if a woman has a body count of 10... people are like, oh my God.
I can't. Like, a woman has a right to make a decision about their own body. And if they want to have multiple penises, they can have multiple penises. Nothing wrong with it.
And they're not allowed to be upset if their partner has had multiple partners.
No. A
woman is not allowed to be upset.
And I think that that's what sucks too about the double standard, is that a guy can go out and fuck anyone he wants, multiple women on a weekend, but they don't want to be, the women that they sleep with isn't who they want to date. Because they want the trad wife, virtuous woman that is the cookie cutter white woman of America.
And they can go around and sleep with all these people and like them to sleep with them. But at the end of the day, when they're ready to settle down, the person they want to settle down with can have explored, because they just need to be pure and ready. And it's this whole like Madonna horror complex, which obviously stems from religion, and like that's what our society is built on. But to your point, it's really disgusting that we're still dealing with this. I'm not surprised that a movie in 99 wasn't ready to, overcome this, because we're still not ready to overcome this. Look at freaking What's Your Number with Anna Faris. Like, it's a whole comedy about the fact that she can't tell people how many men she slept with. And it's just upsetting. It's just upsetting that 30 years later, women are still held to such an unrealistic standard, and that we have to feel the need to put on a facade so that we don't, sully our appearance or how we're coming off to men, as if we should be lucky to have the men.
I was just going to say, as if they deserve that.
like, no, thank you.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's just crazy to me that we're still living in a society that being a woman is just so fucking hard.
And that with modern technology and women in the workplace, we're still back to the trad wife ideal. And men really go on the internet and say with a straight face that they deserve a woman who stays in the kitchen all day. Like, and what are you giving to her? You probably don't even know what foreplay is.
No. Defo not.
Could never be me. This is all just evidence that sexuality is not a choice, because there would be no straight women except the trad wives. It would be exclusively Christians and trad wives.
But half of those are fucking closeted for sure.
Oh, 100%. And so are some of the men. Anyway,
all around, just closeted people.
All around, just so many closeted people. Okay, so yeah, I feel like I have like so much to say about that, but it's everything that we're already saying, that we're all like, it's just ugh. So another aspect of this whole movie is the power of the rich, because obviously Sebastian and Catherine are filthy rich, and that wealth gets them access. So Sebastian gets access to Annette due to his financial standing. He knows, this like mansion that she's staying at with all the horses, and he's able to just, show up there whenever he wants. Catherine gets access to Cecile and Ronald because of her financial standing. Not to mention the private boarding school, the therapy, which is basically a game for Sebastian. Like, some people can't even afford therapy, Sebastian. Okay, this is too much privilege. And just the implied power that they have over everyone around them. Like at the beginning, when he parks in the no parking zone, and the cop is like, dude, you can't park here. And he's like, ugh. And he just like
pats him on the head.
Flips him off, basically. And it's like, okay. So that it's just so much.
I know. And it's kind of like interesting too, because they never talk about their wealth. It's just kind of like implied, which is actually kind of a cool thing on like the director's part, because you can tell that they get whatever they want, even though it's never really talked about.
Yeah, that's so true. It's just done more in like the set, or more in their attitude about certain things. So that is a really good point, because usually it's more explicitly stated.
Yeah.
I feel like I had something else to say about their money. And we never really get a sense of Annette's financial standing.
No, but I feel like she's rich, because you can just kind of, the way that she's dressed and the way that she's kind of,
she's comfortable on that horse.
Yeah. And then like there's that part where when Sebastian goes to the house to give her the journal, and there's like a fucking like just party going on, and there's like caterers in the kitchen. So yeah, I think like she's also, and obviously like her dad's gonna be the headmaster at a boarding school, so obviously they have some kind of prestige or money. But again, like not talked about, so you don't know.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. And the only time that it's really referenced is when the mom is talking to Ronald, and it's like, I took you off the streets. And he's like,
but that's not even poor. Like, I know, but that's like not even like a money thing. I think that's just like a hierarchy standard. Like,
yeah, that's like, just blatant racism.
She's like, I am a rich white woman. You are black. So obviously you are beneath me in so many ways.
And obviously you would be lucky to get my help.
Gosh.
That brings me to our next thing, which is the blatant racism and homophobia. I did remember the homophobia. I forgot about most of the racism, or
Mm-hmm.
just like how many times it's brought up. I will say I don't love at the end where they have the only black man in this movie getting into a fist fight.
Of course.
Feels weird, don't like
Mm-hmm.
that. But I do like Sean Patrick Thomas and like his acting.
Oh my
And he's
God.
just like, when he's leaving, he's like, free the black man. And he's like running.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, he has such an attitude that like, oh, I know that I have to deal with this. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go again. Oh, here's, you know what I mean? Like, and he's been nothing but respectful. He's been nothing but caring.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, knew this was a matter of time. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then obviously the homophobia and just like the over the top closeted jock who's like the head of the football team and then
oh my God. There's like that
he
line.
wants to have sex, but then he's like, oh, I was so drunk, man. I was so like drunk. I didn't even know what happened, man. Yeah. And what I hate in these movies sometimes is that like the gay man has to be so overtly okay with his sexuality that he can like laugh about someone treating him like this.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's so unrealistic, especially for a high schooler.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. And like Joshua Jackson's character, I don't know. I kind of feel like that whole plot line could have just been fucking nixed from the movie. It brought nothing. It brought no substance to this film whatsoever.
Literally nothing.
Like, I can understand.
And that guy wasn't even the one who told her.
No, and it's like, I can understand Sean Patrick Thomas's role because, yes, there is always still that hierarchy of, like, rich white men and black people. So, like, I completely think that while it sucks continuously seeing it, it makes sense for that to be in there. But, like, Joshua Jackson is on the screen for, like, not even 5 minutes, and then he's done. Okay. Why? What was the point? What was the point?
He's also shown as a manipulative asshole.
Mm-hmm. Which I like, which I also feel like they sometimes did in those movies with gay people. They, like you said, they made it seem like they could care less that people are like using them or like hiding them.
Yes.
And it's like, that's not true.
Yeah. No, not at all. And I think overall this movie was just slamming as many taboo topics as possible. And like, I totally get that. But I just don't like that, you know, when we look at our villains of this movie, one of them is the woman who's okay with her sexuality. One of them is the gay guy who's trapping and blackmailing. Don't love it. So that's the 90s. I mean, what can we say about that? Okay. Now, last but not least, I'm ready to blow your mind with a conspiracy theory I saw on Reddit.
Okay.
Basically, the idea, and this has very big following on the Reddits. The idea is that Annette is the real manipulator in this story, and she was playing all of them from the beginning. So she broke Sebastian of his manipulative and womanizing ways. And in the end, she took down the real adversary to her good girl image, which was Catherine. And people refer to like Annette driving away with Sebastian's car and the fact that in the bathroom, she kind of used Catherine's saying against her. And then there's also some comment when she's riding the horses about how her family used to break wild horses. What do you think of this?
I could see how people could see it from that point of view. Because I mean it you know, some of the things that maybe she does don't exactly like match up with like a good girl image per se. But I think that that's a little too conspiracy for me personally.
I agree with you. I think it is definitely just conspiracy theory, but it is still fun to think about.
No, it definitely is fun to think about. It's almost like, oh, so she came to this town just to like fuck these people over just because she like feels like it. She's like Blair Waldorf. She's like, I just want to fuck around with some people.
And the whole time people think that they're you know playing her and she's just in the back like hee hee hee. But like, I do what I have in store.
But I do love that concept.
Yeah, I kind of want to rewatch it with that in mind, because
Yeah.
even one of the people on Reddit was like, rewatch it and you won't be able to unsee it. Um,
That's a good
I
point.
think in some ways you could say that Annette like stooped down to a lower level by releasing the pages
Mm-hmm.
about Catherine. But I think the main purpose is that ultimately she wanted the world to see the Sebastian that she saw,
I
and to
agree.
see that he did have a heart and he
Yeah.
was capable of love, and that many times he was manipulated by Catherine.
Mm-hmm. It's very like
So even
Romeo and
though,
Juliet. Like they didn't get the chance to really have their love story because someone had to get involved.
and it's like, even though he did all these horrible things and he was responsible for his own actions, he doesn't need to be remembered that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Catherine doesn't get to get the last word, doesn't get to win in the end. So, I mean, I'm petty level 1000, so I would never say that Annette stooped down too low, but that's just me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still don't want to see Catherine taken down, but take it down a
No,
notch,
no.
perhaps.
Yeah, I know. I know. It's hard. Because it's hard to like, because then you don't ever want to feel like you're knocking another woman down when realistically we should all be like trying to bring each other up. But there's just like some
Well, and
instances.
that's one of the problems, is that, I totally understand where Catherine is coming from, in the fact that she has been, treated differently. She has been held to a different standard. She was heartbroken by her boyfriend leaving her.
Yeah.
That really hurt her. But the fact is, she should have taken it out on those men and on society. And instead she took it out on these girls who had no idea what was going on. They did nothing to deserve any of this. So I think, that kind of feeds into the whole teenage mindset and the women never empowering women in this, in the early 2000s. And, even now it's questionable. We're working on it. But yeah, I just thought it was a fun little rabbit hole that I fell down there. I was like,
No, I like it.
oh, I'm sorry. Annette knew from the beginning.
I am all for conspiracy theories. I love hearing people's conspiracy theories. I might not agree with them, but I love hearing them.
100%. And sometimes I'm like, damn, I see why you think that.
Exactly.
I don't think that, but I see why you think that.
Yeah, it does. It makes you see something from a different point of view.
I mean, they're conspiracies for a reason. Anything else that we missed?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So we're going to jump to our ratings. And are you ready for this rating scale?
Yes.
Okay, so our rating scale is 0 to 10, 0. I think I have to start at 1, right?
I mean, we could give a movie a 0.
If you give this movie a 0,
that much.
Yeah, I'll be very upset. But anyway, okay. So our rating scale is 0 to 10, slutty little glasses.
Oh,
because Ryan Phillippe does have some slutty little glasses.
For a second, maybe you're going to do rosaries filled with cocaine.
I mean, that just sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. Oh, slutty little glasses. I love a man.
Ryan Phillippe. I figured this was more appropriate because of the People's Sexiest Man Alive recent announcement.
Oh, my boy Jonathan Bailey. I'm so happy for him. He deserves everything.
Slutty little glasses. All right, so how many slutty little glasses are you giving Cruel Intentions?
I'm giving Cruel Intentions 6.5 slutty little glasses.
Okay.
Because stellar casting, great acting. I mean, it was really fun watching like Ryan's character flip, especially the beginning, from being kind of like this boyish goody two shoes to like being like a basic douchebag. But acting was great. Storyline could use some work, but all in all, I mean, it's a classic film. So I feel like it's just one of the pinnacles of that time frame. And it's good, it's a different romance than what we were getting at that time. And I think it's always nice to see kind of other directors or filmmakers try to not go with the narrative and kind of go down their own route, which is what you should do. It shouldn't always be like copying other people. You should be able to just write the story that you want to write, and people are going to like it or they're not going to like it. And that's fine.
Yeah. And that was very much their attitude of like, this is either going to be a hit or not. And they said actually that they felt like they broke the teen movie because it's like they pushed the envelope so much that then other people had to try and outdo them because no one was expecting a movie like this.
Yeah.
I am giving it 7.5 slutty little glasses. I think the casting is just like so incredible and it's just hit after hit. I think that this movie embodies so much of what I think of when I think of the late 90s, early 2000s, but in a fresh way.
Yeah.
Because it does have so many of those differences. Like you still have, like we said, the common themes like the bet and the, whatever. But it really was so different for its time. And watching it now, I'm like, ooh, how scandalous. And yeah, I would be curious to know what age I was when I first watched this, but I'm going to guess it was way too young.
I know, because I was like trying to think. I'm like, it came out in 99. I was like, but I don't think I distinctly remember not watching it like at that time frame because I would have been 10, so that's not happening. Mm-hmm. But I think that I went on like a Reese Witherspoon movie kick, and I think that's why I watched it.
Can't believe you didn't watch Fear. Oh my god.
That just
you need to watch it ASAP.
I would watch it now, but I think in that was my like I only wanted to watch like rom-coms.
Oh yeah.
So I watched that, Sweet Home Alabama, Pleasantville, Legally Blonde. Like it was all like lighthearted movies. Not that Cruel Intentions is lighthearted, but I wasn't really into like thrillers or anything in that time. That kind of came a little bit later for me.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you definitely have to add it to your watch list.
Yeah.
Now. I still, whenever that's on, like if I see it on streaming or something, I'll just watch it. I've seen it like a bunch of times.
I've definitely seen like bits and pieces of it because of it being on TV, but like I've never sat down and watched it. Like
well, it has a very iconic roller coaster scene. Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Okay. You wait. You'll see it.
I think if you tell me like, yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, but like I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I think that a lot of it is the nostalgia of this movie, which is kind of the case with a lot of these movies that we're covering.
I mean, like 10 Things I Hate About You. Not a good movie, but I loved it so much.
But like still amazing. I think it's to your point of like when I think of my late 90s, early 2000s, like this would definitely be on my list of one of those that like is so vivid in my mind. But yeah, I think part of that is not only the nostalgia, but seeing it at such formative years and seeing, when in a time, first of all, we were young, and second of all, it wasn't really okay to be talking about sex in these ways. And yeah, so now I'm going to go rewatch it, but thinking of Annette as the villain.
Do it.
Yeah, so that's all we got. I won't be reading the book that this movie is based upon. Thank you.
I don't think I'm not. Well, I know you're listening to The Shining still currently, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, I think that's the only one out of like the ones that we've done that were like. Well, you read Bird Box, but
yeah, I did read Bird Box, and I've read pieces of Wizard of Oz. All right. Well, that's all we have for you today. If you like what you heard, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate or review the podcast on whatever platform you're using. If you're offended by my French accent, I sincerely apologize. Perhaps I will take French lessons on Duolingo. If you have any book recommendations or questions for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on our socials, TikTok and Instagram at fullybookedcalfpod to see our upcoming reads. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
if you need us, we're fully booked. Bye.
Bye.